Welcome to SIUK India webinar. Thank you for joining us. We are now live with King's College London. Today we have Palak and Martin with us. They will be taking us through this webinar session. We'll answer all the questions after the presentation during the Q&A session. So let's start the webinar. Over to you, Palak.
Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you for having us. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Palak. I will start with my presentation and I'll try to answer as many questions while presenting. And then, of course, later we'll take in questions from the chat box as well. Right. So I'm Palak. I'm the international officer with King's College London. I'm based in India and I look after undergraduate and postgraduate. I'm sure almost all of you are aware about King's, but just to set some context, we were founded in 1829, which makes us close to about 200 years old. We were the founding college of the University of London. We're part of the Russell Group. And the fact that we are very, very proud of is the number of Nobel laureates that we've produced so far. Also, on the bits on ranking that you see on the screen, a lot of Indian students specifically are very, very inclined towards these numbers. So as per QS World Rankings 2022, we are top 3 in London, top 10 in the UK, and top 35 in the world. This is, of course, a Nobel laureate. So just be mindful of the time and not going into details. But if you want to read about those, please search about them on the internet. So a bit on the King's community. We are a large university with 5 campuses with close to about 34 to 35,000 students. And very interestingly, about close to 50% of these are international students represented from about 185 different countries. From India, of course, this is not the most updated figure, but we have close to about 700 students across all our campuses studying at present with King's. This is one of my favorite slides to speak about is our location. So as you can see on the screen, we are very, very centrally located. We have not 1, but 5 campuses spread across central London, which pretty much, the students tell us that they pretty much feel that the whole of the London is their classroom because of this. And all the red, I'll take like about 30 seconds to explain this slide for those of you who haven't had the chance just yet to experience London or have not seen King's yet. So all the red boxes that you see on the screen are either campuses, hospitals, or libraries that are owned and managed by King's. All the subjects that you see mentioned across those small boxes are, of course, the subjects that are taught here. Now, where you'll be based depends, of course, what you choose to study. So for all the business school, for all the business courses, you'll be based at the Bish House, which, of course, Martin will be explaining in his slides. All the purple boxes that you see on the screen are, famous tourist landmarks or institutes of importance in London. So you can pretty much see that we are surrounded by the very best that London has to offer. These might look very spread out on the screen, but they're all within short bus rides or walking distance from each other. So that's about location. If you're interested to know any further details about our campuses, you can always look at a virtual campus tour on the internet or on the King's website. But I'll also take a few seconds to show a few of our campuses over the next few slides. This is a Strand campus where our arts and humanities courses are taught, which is also law courses are taught here. The engineering department is here. And trust me, this does no justice to how beautiful this actually looks in real life. This is our iconic Bush House building. This is where the BBC used to operate from before we made our business school here. So this is where our business courses are taught. This is our Waterloo campus. This is our beautiful Guy's campus, which is also our medicine school. So life sciences and medicine courses are taught here. This is a St. Thomas campus. This is the Denmark Hill campus, which you could see at the bottom corner when I showed the whole slide about our location. This is our exceptionally beautiful Mon library. this is a site in itself, and everybody who sees this is just awestruck. So very, very beautiful library. That was a bit about King's. Now I'll get into the courses that we broadly have on offer. So they're close to about 180 to 200 different set of courses across different sets of faculties. I will not get into much detail, and it's not, of course, possible to put everything on the screen, but I've just picked a few courses. So we have courses across STEM, health, politics and social science, law, management and business, which of course we'll touch upon in great detail when my colleague Martin takes over. And we also have arts and humanities subjects. So if you're interested in any of these courses specifically, the website is honestly the best place to check this out. There'll also be related set of courses with those similar names, etc. So this is what we offer broadly. Now we come upon the application process. So all postgrad applications at King's happen directly through our website, which is at apply.kcl.ac.uk. What we usually need for an application is transcripts, 1 or 2 reference, depending on the course that you're applying for, and of course, statement of purpose, which is a very, very, very important document, which is why I'll take the next couple of slides to explain more about the statement of purpose and what we actually look for in a strong statement of purpose. The applications for King's postgraduate courses roughly open in about October, mid-October onwards. The deadline is usually the end of March, but the courses could also still remain open till a little later after March, depending on the offers released and the kind of applications that we receive. At this point, all of our courses are still open. However, the caveat is that they could close just anytime soon now. So if you're looking to still apply courses for this year's entry, you can still apply, but you need to apply ASAP because they could close at any point now. The average processing time for applications, which of course is a question for a lot of students, is usually 6 to 8 weeks at King's. It does take at least 6 to 8 weeks. It could also take longer depending on what time of the year you're making your application. Now, this is also one slide I'll like to spend some time on. So a lot of students, when we meet them, they often ask this question that, you know, when we go on the course page on the website, it usually says with entry requirements, it will say a high to 1 or a high to is to 1, etc. So those are UK set of qualifications. But if you're applying from India, I will explain you how the qualification works. So you have to go into the entry requirements and then you have to go into the international entry requirements. There'll be a drop down of countries. You have to pick India from the drop down, and then it will take you to a page for that particular course, which will classify universities to highly prestigious and recognized universities. Now, based on where you're studying for your undergrad will determine the number of, the percentage of marks that you need. Now, this list is not available anywhere on the public platform. This list only we possess, but just to help you on some bits. So, for example, the highly prestigious universities could be the Delhi University, it will be Ashoka, OP Jindal, Jawaharlal Nehru University, BITS Pilani, Bangalore University, Mumbai University. All of the, if you're from any of these universities for your undergrad, then you'll fall under the highly prestigious university entry requirement. The prestigious universities will be Jamia Millia Islamia, or could be Goa University, Punjab University, Jain University. So it will fall under the prestigious universities category, and the recognized universities category will be Amity University, Ansel University, Chitkara University, Chandigarh University. So these set of universities, of course, if you have questions on your particular university, you can always drop us an email and we'll be happy to get back as to where that particularly falls. So just to explain a bit on the entry requirements, if you are studying at a highly prestigious university for your undergrad and the course that you're applying for at King's says that you need a high to 1, then you'll need 8 on 10 or 65%, depending on how your transcripts mentions your percentage. And if that particular course at King's needs a 2:1, you will need a 7.5 on 10 or a 60%. So this is how it'll work with the prestigious and the recognized universities as well. So you can take a picture. I know it's not very easy to process at once. So please feel free to take a picture. And just to remind you, when you go on the entry requirements on the website, please look at the international entry requirements and then India from the drop-down list. Now, in terms of English language test requirements, this is again a very frequently asked question. Irrespective of your medium of instructions, you will need an English language test score. Now, this could be IELTS, TOEFL, or the PTE. Usually, the courses, the business set of courses will need a band B, which will be like a 7 overall and 6.5 in each section. Just to reiterate the fact that it is important to meet both these criteria. So you need to have a minimum of a 7 overall. At the same time, it's also important to have at least a 6.5 in each category. So this was a bit on the entry requirements. And so this will basically test your eligibility if you are eligible to apply. Let me just add one more important point here. Meeting the minimum entry requirement is just a prerequisite and it no way guarantees an offer. It just means that your application will be assessed by us. So now moving on to personal statements, of course, just being mindful of time, I will just pick a couple of slides that I'll take you through in detail so that it's helpful for personal statements. Now, a business set of courses are extremely competitive, which means that your application needs to be really, really, really strong, right? Now, most of our courses, specific like the business set of courses, don't really have interviews, right? So your personal statement becomes a very, very important document for the admission committee to assess if you're the right fit for the university. So the personal statement will close to have about 4,000 characters, not words, and about 47 lines. It's very, very important for competitive courses, like I said. Broadly, it should reflect the motivation, aptitude, and determination for you to study at that particular university and that particular course, right? At a postgrad level, it's very important for you to show that you're the right fit, not just for the course, but also for the university. The box at the bottom, which says that make it personal, is very, very important because a lot of students tend to miss this essence. They will keep Googling for the most perfect personal statement, etc. But it's called personal for a reason because it has to be your particular story, right? So be very mindful of this fact when you're adopting your personal statement. Now, I'll just give you a possible structure to your personal statement. This is, of course, not set in stone, but this is how you can structure your personal statement. So it should be about 4 to 5 paragraphs. There should be an introduction, then about 3 to 4 paragraphs, and then a conclusion, right? So you can start with the motivation. Why do you want to study that subject or that university? In fact, also your academic interests and achievements related to that particular course, your further experience and your extracurricular experience. So of course, when Martin will take over, he will get into some details on how you can ace this personal statement specific to business courses. So of course, this is just a suggestion, like I said. A lot of students tend to make this mistake of doing like 10, 12, 15 different things and not kind of explaining it or putting in evidence. So very, very important, or whatever you're doing related to the course, be very, very specific to explain and be reflective of the fact that what you've gained from that particular course and how that's made you a stronger applicant, right? Put in evidence. Don't just mention, for example, that I'm a great team player, right? You have to mention that what you've done so far inside and outside of classroom to support that particular claim that you're making, right? Very, very important is to eliminate the sentences or any activities that don't add value to the course specific that you're applying for, right? So very, very important to do these things. What I usually suggest students is don't unnecessarily go broad with so many activities and, you're not being able to be reflective and put it in a concrete sense. Instead, do a few activities that are related to the course, but don't go into the depth and explain how that particular experience or that particular volunteering experience or that book, whatever you've done or that course has made you a stronger applicant for that particular course. So just to kind of go into some details of what you could possibly include. So UK set of personal statements are very academic in nature. So that means about 80 to 90% of your academic statement needs to be academic. Sorry, 80 to 90% of your personal statement needs to be academic in nature. You have to mention your key skills and competences, but the caveat is it needs to be relevant to the course you're applying for. For example, if you're applying for a business course and you are, for example, like a national level hockey player, if you can't draw synergies between both these with your experience in the course, then I'll suggest that you don't put it because 4,000 characters is not really much to kind of put your story across, right? So be very, very mindful of only putting in things that are relevant. So any professional qualification or awards that you've had, any work experience, employment, internships, online volunteering, etc., anything that you've done that adds value to your personal statement. Very, very important is also to attend taster lectures, open days, virtual open days, all of these things that happen from that particular university that really puts across the motivation and your determination to study in that particular university. Things to not include, of course, the list is really long, but just being, we've just put out the most common ones. Lying and exaggeration is absolutely something that is not required. For example, students will put in things like, since I was in the womb of my mother, I've always wanted to study international management, right? We've actually read those things across. So this is not the most ideal or a perfect way to produce a good quality personal statement. Plagiarism is a big offense in the UK, so please don't plagiarize personal statements. The universities have strong plagiarism softwares to catch plagiarism, and every year we see warning emails going out to students. So please be very mindful of that fact. If you're writing a personal statement for a UK university, please be mindful of using UK set of spellings. Informal language, Gen Z language, slangs, etc. We tend to use a lot of texting and Instagram messages these days that subconsciously we tend to use those slangs and all of those things. So be very, very mindful when you're, drafting your personal statement and rereading it and all of those things. Excessive use of thesaurus is something that a lot of Indian students are very, very obsessed about. This is honestly not needed unless you're applying for like a English literature set of a course. Irrelevant quotes, again, a lot of favorite by a lot of students. A lot of these are favorite by a lot of students, like education is the best weapon to change the world and all of those things. Honestly, this is not needed. Again, a lot of students also tend to use bullet points to show what they've done. So if they've read a certain book, if they've joined a certain club, if they've done like a particular course, don't mention it in bullet points as a shopping list. That doesn't really give like a useful purpose. So what you have to do, like I explained, is be reflective of what that experience has taught you, right? And how this is like a bridge to making you a stronger applicant for that particular course. Just being mindful, I'll not get into much detail, but the crux of this slide is that you have to start early in order to draft and redraft and rediscuss personal statements, speaking to current students, being introspective about what you're good at, what your hobbies and qualities are, and what your strong points are, what is something that is not your strength, etc. So in order to figure all of that out, it's very important that you start on time and don't push your personal statement towards just like a month before the deadline. The admission committee reads tons and tons of personal statements in a day, and it's very easy for them to recognize that how well drafted and how well thought out this personal statement is. So I'll just quickly take the next 2-3 minutes to touch upon a few other points about the university that usually the students are interested to know, and it's usually asked to us. So of course, there's not just all work and no play at King's. We have about 300 plus student societies spread across so many areas. You think, and there's a society for that. There's 70 plus sports clubs exclusively set for different sports. So for student society, there'll be Indian community, there'll be Harry Potter society, photography, social work society, entrepreneurs, lots and lots of things. If you want, you can also start a society of your own. A lot of students are also interested to know about the placements and the work opportunities, right? So you can work part-time while you're studying. Your visa allows you to work 20 hours during the week during term time and 40 hours when there's not term time. And so with careers and employability, we have a very, very strong career service division that will help you they'll organize about 800 to 1,000 events in a year. They'll connect you to different companies. There'll be guest lectures, networking nights, CV classes, mock interviews, etc. But you also have to be pretty proactive to be a part of those events. Networking is a big, big thing in London, and a lot of students just get into employment by being part of a certain society and they've networked, right? So that's about careers and employability. You can, of course, read about more read on this. More details are there on the website. We also have 12 residences that are all walking distance from our different campuses. They are owned and managed by us. They are also exclusive. I mean, Grad Plus, for example, is exclusively available for PG accommodation. So different kinds of accommodation available with different rates depending on whatever suits your budget. So there'll be different facilities around that. So please feel free to look for more details on the website on this. Thank you so much. I will, if you have any questions, of course, we'll take it today after the session, but you can always write down to this email ID. And now I will pass on to Martin, who's my colleague, and will take over from here. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone, and thank you. So my name is Martin, and I'm the International Student Recruitment Manager for one of the faculties for business school. So let me share with you my screen as I'm cautious of the time. And we can start. Right. Thank you for being here. So as mentioned before, I would like to today touch on a few things. We will go through what is it to be actually, what are the benefits to study at Russell Group University, which King's College is a part of. I would like to introduce you to the business school, the youngest faculty within the King's College London and its facilities. What we do to help you with your professional development and prepare you for the career. And we will look at briefly at all of our postgraduate courses, but a little bit more in the detail. I would take you through the 2 new groundbreaking courses which we offer. And then, of course, we look at the scholarships which are available to the business faculty students. Okay, so I hope that most of you know what the Russell Group universities are, or sometimes people know it. I always say it's like Ivy League in America. But students, on many occasions, they ask me, what is the actually benefits and the advantages for the students to be part of study at the Russell Group University? Well, as a postgraduate student, you will find the impact of a Russell Group University more apparent. So students, you will have an access to research opportunities, groundbreaking facilities and technology, but also you will, the universities themselves have a huge impact, social, economic, and cultural. And I don't know if you're aware, the Russell Group universities actually produce more than 2/3, so over 66% of world leading research is actually produced within these universities. When it comes to applying for jobs, so after you graduate or even during your study, a degree from a Russell Group university will certainly support your application. So not only like my colleague Palax mentioned, through events, connections, and one-to-one support, but even according to recent research by leading graduate career site, Milk Round, actually showed that for their first job, only 14% of graduates from Russell Group University, they felt that they need an internship to secure their first job after studies. That was compared to 83% from a non-Russell Group university. So it has an impact on your future career. And lastly, among many, diversity and talent. So it is not a surprise that Russell Group universities are among the most international universities in the world when it comes to student cohort. So for example, 15 top international universities in UK are all Russell Group, but also academic staff. Russell Group universities attract the most talented academics and also international background. At the business school, 65% of our academics actually has an international background. Right, King's Business School. I'm very, very proud of this one, very happy. So we actually been as a School of Management since 1989, but as a faculty on its own, in its own right, we actually exist as of 2017. So that makes us 5 years old. Even in this short amount of time, we are currently ramping top 5 in business and management, and we have become a very competitive, world-recognized business school. Just to give you some numbers to see, we receive around 14,000 postgraduate applications per year, and we only enroll around 1,300 students. So it shows you the competitiveness. Even in this short amount of time, we already double accredited, and I will touch about the accreditations in another slide, which is a great achievement. And as every Russell Group university, we do concentrate on research, however, teaching as well. And our achievements for best in research environment and our our research is actually regarded over 90% of it as a world leading one. So these are very, very great achievements in such a short amount of time. Now, if you decide to study at business school, yeah, you will experience, this is the latest addition to the Strand campus, is the Bush House. So as mentioned before, we have moved here in 2017. It actually used to be a BBC World Service International Center. And if you decide to study with us, you will experience an auditorium for up to 400 guests. You can see at some of the pictures, the Harvard-style lecture theaters, a very, very popular terrace on the 8th floor. So you can see maybe a little bit in the background, the London Eye. And within the Bush House itself, which you can see on the top right picture, in the top right corner, is over 40 classrooms. Now, as you can see, we really like our Morgan Library because we both included it. So I'm really not going to spend too much time, but I just add King's College London has actually 6 libraries across all campuses, and with access approximately to 1.3 million books. But the Morgan Library, yes, is the biggest one, is student favorite one, and it's only 10 minutes walk from the Strand campus, which is a business school campus, among others, but main business school campus. The Morgan Library itself has every book you need for your studies. It's open 24/7 during examinations, has around 750,000 books, and just some interesting fact, you will find inside around 25 kilometers of shelving. Now, I have already spoke a little bit about the accreditation, but apart from individual accreditations, which some of our UG and PG courses have, as mentioned previously, we have the double accreditation, but I'm very, very excited to share with you that we are currently undergoing, well, it's actually over, process to receive a third accreditation, AMBA. 99.9%, we actually will be triple accredited institution within, I expect, 2 to 4 weeks. And this will really put us in a group which is known as the Triple Crown Business Schools or Triple Crown Universities. And just to give you a perspective, it's less than 1% of business schools globally are actually triple accredited. In numbers, 90 schools out of almost 14,000. But on many occasions, students again ask me, so how the accreditation, does it have any impact? Well, it's not only because of the excellent standard of teaching the accreditation is given, but also various researches has shown that students graduating from accredited universities or institutions have secured their first jobs with the higher average salaries. So it has a direct impact, not only on teaching, but also your post-study work and careers. Now, as mentioned again with my colleague Palag, you will have a support of the careers team, but as a business school student, you will not only have the access to all the award-winning events and resources from the central team, but also a bespoke service created especially for you by our dedicated careers team. So in a very simple terms, you will have a team which is dedicated to only students and is closely, of course, cooperating with the central team, which are improving student skills and helping with their career after the studies. So how do we do it? How do you gain your competitive career advantage? Well, we organize, or the careers team organize various events. So to improve your career experience, personal appointments, one-to-one, alumni networking, and you can see, I can't read them all, unfortunately. Work experiences, you will be able to work even on the campus, which you have a paid job. There is various positions. So for the King's College London, you will be able to participate in various projects such as King's Civic Challenge project. This is really working with London-based non-profit organization on the real life cases. My colleague Palag mentioned to improve your social and networking skills through various societies and activities and events. And one of the most popular groups, I think, with the students, and please I encourage you to check the website, because this is just a small list, is the co-curricular experiences. So we as a business school, we have Entrepreneurship Institute, which runs various programs, opportunities, boot camps. We will look at some examples for you. But also as a part of the program, you can have, for example, when you study some finance courses, part of it is investing a real money to a London Stock Exchange. So King's provide the money, so students actually have the real experience of investing within the London Stock Exchange, which I think it's pretty amazing. This is just to show you an example of a student who attended actually one of the programs, or we do, it's King's 20. Student, this is a bachelor student, actually is very successful with his product. So King's 20 is again another opportunity for you where you submit your idea, your business, and if you win, you will receive a support which is valued around £60,000, various mentoring, access to technology, events, and so on. More than happy, yes, you can check that our students, which we're very, very proud of. These are just some example of the employer engagement. This was particularly for our finance students. So we had a panel discussion when the management or representatives of various well-known companies, as you can see, came to have a discussion with our students. In the second picture, you can see this has been a very popular thing where management from a certain investment company came and interviewed the students is interviewing them for a real job. So it was very interesting event. We had an ex-Goldman Sachs, which is also a King's alumni, come and meet our finance students to talk about investment banking and banking in general, and some of our networking events, which this particular one has been, again, women in finance. But as you can see, attendees from companies like PwC, which we actually partner with, and you will work on some real life projects at certain programs, KPMG and Barclays. And I had to share with you the 48-hour startup, because I think it's on top of the list of the students. But what it really is, it's a face-to-face, fast-paced, immersive bootcamp delivered in partnership with the King's Entrepreneurship Institute. It's open to all King's Business School students to apply. And really what you do in diverse student teams, we will take you from startup ideas to build, test, and launch, for example, digital app. So you can see some students' testimonials. It runs over the weekend, and in 48 hours, some of our students walked out with their own startup company, which has been pretty amazing. Right, as we don't have so much time, but please, if you're interested in any of our courses, just check the website. Generally speaking, we offer 6 management postgraduate courses. They kind of vary. Some of them are more specialized. In finance, as you can see, the broadest one would be the banking and finance. Then we offer more specialized entry requirements you will find on the website. They're pretty standard when it comes to overall. However, please check the specifics. If there is specific module, or as you can expect in finance, you will have to have some quantitative background. And in marketing, we offer international marketing, which is general. So if you're thinking of change of career and you haven't studied marketing before, this is a course for you. Digital marketing is more specialized, of course, on the digital aspect. In next slides, I would just introduce you to the 2 brand new courses, which you can see highlighted. So if you allow me, I would start. Why we're starting is this intake first time in September, ESG management, which stands for environmental, social, and corporate governance. Well, the simple answer really is that there is a high demand for workers who understand ESG. If you ask yourself over the last 2 decades, what is the thing that really changed business before? It has been technology, data, analytics, and so on. But if you ask yourself what is already transforming or will transform the business in the future, lots of professionals, and I believe it's going to be the climate change. You can see some numbers here. According to McKinsey, a global sustainable investment top $30 trillion in 2019, a massive increase as of 68%. According to recruiters, filling roles in the expanding ESG sector is not always easy. Our partner PwC put a statement out in June 2021. They will create 100,000 new positions in next 5 years globally, many of which are focused on climate change risks and sustainability. Now, we as a business school have a key role to play in teaching students about sustainability. Now, students equipped with knowledge about topics like sustainability and equality will ultimately have a significant impact on how businesses are run. Sustainability factors are becoming a mainstream part of the investment decision making. There are increasing calls for companies to provide high quality, globally comparable information on sustainability related risks and opportunities. Now, one of these is ISSB, which stands for International Sustainability Standards Board. And they already have created, I think it was November 21 or 22, a globally sustainability standards for investors in, it's over 140 countries. And currently, there are regulations that actually require ESG reporting from the companies in over 50 countries. And this will grow, it's growing. It's pretty new thing when it comes to the accounting terms and reporting. So regarding our new program is really unique because of its multidisciplinary approach. Other programs, we did our research, is really one of its kind in UK, focuses on ESG topics in a single functional area, such as asset management, strategy, or technology. But by really contrast, this program brings together different functional areas and disciplines, which will equip you with the knowledge and applicable skills to address that whole new complex environmental, social, and governance opportunities and challenges. You will study modules such as environmental economics, ESG regulations and compliance, strategy stakeholders and governance, and they will really prepare you for broad range of jobs within various sectors such as finance, consulting, HR, analytics, and so on. Right. So the second course, we actually started last year, our MedTech Innovation and Entrepreneurship Master. Now, again, I think I like to start with why do we do as a King's College London this course? Not particularly business school, when I will explain later. Well, when you think about it, the healthcare is really changing. People these days are living longer today. And this is not only thanks to living healthier life, but is mainly thanks to constantly developing technology. What people want these days, it's affordable healthcare. The disease patterns have changed. Major diseases today are basically diseases that people live with as a part of their life. And yes, the pills, the injections, they have a role to play, but AI robotics, smart implants, help at home, that has become a new normal. And health is in growing need because we're getting older globally. Just to give you an example, in UK, the annual expenditure, so how much the government spent as a proportion to GDP, to the gross domestic product, according to certain data, OECD data, they suggest that this has risen from just below 10% in 2019 to 12%, which is a massive increase as a proportion to GDP in 2021. And this is really, really unique program designed actually by entrepreneur, professor, who is also director of this program. And he is from India, has designed, I think, 7 or 8 programs around the world, only one in UK. And is really a combination of King's College London's strengths. So medicine, engineering, and business. The students who enrolled in this program, if you will enroll or will apply and succeed, you will work on a real life projects around the globe. And you will have access to, of course, King's Hospital to learn from the medical practitioners, innovators, entrepreneurs, and so on. Last year graduates, we stay in touch with our students, and they went on various careers. We had the students who went to medical technology, research and development, consulting, even investment banking, big data companies, medtech marketing, global health organizations, or even they started their own company. They have their own startup. So I really would like to just touch briefly on what you can expect on this program. But let me start with questions I'm also facing from the students, and they come to me and ask, like, if this program is actually for students who only wants to start their own company within the medtech, and they say, well, what if I don't want to start my own company? Because the name entrepreneurship, might lead towards that, but it is very, very important to understand that this is not only about creating the startup, but it's about creating the entrepreneurship mindset, which is, and how do we achieve that? Well, it's really learning by doing. And as I mentioned before, the students and the director, actually, Mr. Prashan, is very particular. They're working on the global projects, on the real life cases. And the program is really built around your interest. So you will be able to choose a module of your interest. And currently, we have 2 streams available. One is if you are interested in core engineering. So you could be taking module in robotics or machine learning or artificial intelligence, but also you could speak to director of the programs. You could ask for modules such as nursing or patents, intellectual law, property law, or neuroscience. And if you discuss this with the program director, program leader, they will encourage you to do so, of course, and reason it. The program is taught in a real world healthcare setting. You can see on the pictures, actually, in the top corner is the Guy's Hospital, one of our hospitals, which is, I'm not sure if tallest or one of the tallest hospitals in Europe. At the bottom, you can see the St. Thomas Hospital, and this is where the medical and engineering part of the program is located. And of course, one of the best thing to come to college is really to build a vast network, either with your peers, so with your classmates, or through various ongoing events, which we mentioned a few times, which are organized by our careers team. And of course, not to mention, you will engage with a diverse cohort of students and professionals from various backgrounds. It really enriches the international study, international experience, and study at King's as an overall. Okay, caution of the time. So scholarships, really, I'm gonna simplify it. As a business school, not as a King's College, we have our own also scholarships, and these are particularly for postgraduate students. If you are watching now and you have an offer, you will receive an instructions how to apply. If you are watching now and you're waiting for the offer, you applied for this intake. When you receive your offer, you will receive instructions how to apply. You can only apply for scholarship at KBS if you have received an offer. But please be mindful, the applications for the scholarship will close on 30th of June. As you can see, you will complete a short essay. Some cases, it can be a video submission. And as mentioned before, it's for postgraduate only. It's unique to the King's Business School postgraduate courses, and it is up to 10,000 British pounds. If you're thinking of applying this year, I think my colleague Palak mentioned it perfectly. It applies to us as well. The first deadline for the application has passed. However, you can see status of each course at the website if it's still open. To my knowledge, I think they're still open, but it can change really by day. So if you're thinking of applying for 2023, please do it ASAP. I believe I would like to open a session. Thank you very much for attending and watching. So if you wish to contact me directly, here's my email address regarding business courses, like I said, because I'm not with the other faculties, please. And yeah, let's have a session open for questions, Q&A session. Thank you. But
Thank you for taking out your time and giving us this insightful presentation. Now time for the Q&A session. We will start the Q&A session. I will read out all the questions from the YouTube chat box. So our first question is, who are the top employers after completing MBA?
Who are the top employers after completing MBA is the question, sorry.
That's right.
Unfortunately, I wouldn't know that. And probably the simple answer to that is because we don't do MBA. As a business school, we do not have MBA. We have professional masters. And we're starting this year executive MBA, which is very different. That's for working professionals with 7+ years of working experience.
Priyanka, I think the student meant generally after business course. So I'll answer from that perspective. So I mean, we pretty much have recruiters from across the globe. So it could be I mean, we literally, like, there'll be top MNCs, there'll be government organizations, there'll be lots and lots. So it's very difficult to comment the top ones, but pretty much the top MNCs that you can think of. So our graduates are employed all over the globe. So it's not just UK, it's not just India, and they're doing some fantastic work in different set of roles. So, you know.
Okay. So our second question is, have 3 years of experience in management. Can I apply for an MBA, or is there any specialized course for 1 year duration?
If I understood correctly, there was have 3 years experience in management.
Yes.
But what about academic qualification?
Yes.
Oh, for the executive MBA, 3 years. It's a brand new course. I advise to go on the website, but 3 years experience for executive MBA, very highly, not highly unlikely. It's not. It's a 7 years, I think, minimum the executive education admission is asking for. A specialized master, yes, but please review which particular master you're after. We do not have any limitation for any of our postgraduate courses apart from international management, where you would not be eligible because you can only have maximum 2 years gap between your studies. So of course, if the student or who is watching is saying that he's got 3 years and more, that unfortunately he wouldn't be eligible for international management, but courses such as strategic entrepreneurship and innovation, maybe he or she is looking for something more specialized, human resources, HR, or public policy, then has to review the entry requirements. It would be, if academically qualified, would be eligible.
Okay, so our next question is, are those offline management programs also available with the university for Indian students?
Which program? Sorry, can you repeat the question? The offline?
Yeah, the offline management programs.
Offline management programs?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Sorry, Palak.
I'm repeating the question again. Are those offline management programs also available with the university for Indian students?
I'm not exactly sure. What is it referring as offline management programs?
Can I just add a point? I think, Priyanka, they mean the general set of programs that Martin showed on the screen. So those are the ones that are offline on the campus. So yes, it is available for international students as well.
Yeah,
so
it's available to everyone, any international student. Sorry, I wasn't sure about the offline. We have, just to mention on that also, as Palak mentioned, the number of 700 students, if I'm not mistaken, and I look at the numbers recently, majority, 200 between 9 faculties, over 200 is at business school actually. We have quite a substantial number of students from India study at our postgraduate programs.
Okay. The next question is, what is the employability rate for postgraduate for international business and finance?
What is the probability rate? Sorry?
Employability rate. What is the employability rate for postgraduate of international business and finance?
So don't have international business and finance separate data, but I think the employability rate, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm trying to get this data in the much detail to break it down, was over 90%. And this is being measured, there are various research showing next 3 months or 6 months.
Okay. So the next question is, can I enroll for MBA without any work experience?
We do not provide standard MBA,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
For international students, is there any help to find jobs in the UK after graduation or during the studies?
Sorry, Priyanka, can I just cut you here? So your previous point, I think, so when we speak to a lot of students, so what we try to explain, so MBA versus MSc and MA, these are just nomenclature differences in different continents. So because students look at India, US, UK, and all of these countries. So UK, it's mostly specifically, if I talk about King's, it is mostly MA and MSc courses, but I'll suggest that you don't just go with these nomenclature differences of if they are called like a PGPM or a PGDM or an MBA, but go through the course modules to understand if that is a right fit with your interest and what you want to do in your future. So that is just like this one bit, so with students, and also just to answer the question that you answered before. So yeah, Martin rightly said it's about a 90% plus. So it's exactly like a 94%. So yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Thank you.
sorry.
Yeah, so the next question is for international students, is there any help to find jobs in the UK after graduation or during the studies?
I think we both spoke about it with Palak mainly. During the studies, there is a massive organization of many events. We have the careers team. Of course, student has to be proactive. But they have opportunities to be exposed to various companies, to interact with them, to network. So there is a quite substantial support. And at business school, particularly, as I mentioned, we have additional team to supporting students for them to be successful within applying for any jobs, preparing. We can talk about it really for a long time. One-to-one interview practice, LinkedIn profile, CV building, interview skills, networking skills. So, but student has to reach out and go for these opportunities. Student has to be proactive, of course, but the resources and opportunities are there.
Just adding one point with Indian context, we also have the 2-year post-study work visa now, which is a graduate immigration route, which of course is also really, really helpful. So yeah, just adding that to my concern.
So the next question is, what do you think are the pros and cons, if there are any, about getting a postgraduate management from KCL?
I cannot see any cons, if I'm honest. And of course, I will say that because I'm here for King's. Like mentioned, and that's why I try to be also general and honest. You are graduating from well-established, worldwide known university, part of the Russell Group, top 3 in London, well recognized, partnering with various companies. It was previously said where students go work. Students go worldwide, as my colleague mentioned, but we're trying to stay in touch with our alumni network, which we haven't mentioned much. It's a great part of the studies and opportunities for future. They end up I can name all the big companies. There always somebody end up there. So the pros are you will not only receive a quality education, you will be exposed to practical exposure as well, various opportunities. You will engage with the working professionals. I actually should mention on the business school particularly, you will have some classes in the evening, which is more than welcome by students because we have external members of academics. So these are actually working professionals within banking sector or within that sector as a full-time, and they're coming to teach in the evening, the students. So it's not only academics who's with the classes, but working professionals, which again, it's not great opportunity to be to receive for somebody who is an expert in the field, but also already creating a contacts within the market. Plus, you're in London, city of opportunities.
Yeah, I'll just add a point there, Fanny. So just with the whole context of UK, if I may answer, of course, what Martin said, all of those, and there are many more pros to it. And also UK degrees are shorter with time span. So our master's is at King's is just 1 year, which also saves, usually masters are also 2 years at different countries. So that saves 1 year of cost and time, of course. Very honestly, if I say again from a little Indian perspective here, so con, if I would say, is it's not like a con, but it's also how you manage it, is because we are very, very centrally located. The cost of living could be a little higher than if you're living on outskirts, but also as Indian students, then you have to be smart enough to budget well. And in return, you also get access to a lot of opportunities which come when you are based in central London. So the connections that we have and the proximity invites a lot of prominent visitors and things like that. So
the next question is, if we have any queries while studying at KCL, can we reach out to the instructor, and how are they accessible?
yeah, so every student is assigned a personal tutor, which is very, very happy to take care of your pastoral needs. If you just need a friend to talk, although there is a very flat hierarchy, honestly, inside the classrooms also, you find your lecturers very, very accessible in one of those things. So there's very less chance that, you'll not feel very comfortable to speak to them, but there'll always be a personal tutor, which is assigned to each and every student, which is pretty much like a friend at the university. So if you're missing your dog, if you're missing your home cooked food, if you need any help at the university, they are always there. There's also free of cost professional counseling that is available. There are also things like money mentors at the university, which will help you budget well. So we understand there'll be teething problems. There'll be a lot of different kinds of problems that emerge as a cultural change. And of course, most of you will be, at least some of you will be leaving home for the first time, right? So we understand those sorts of problems might come in. So and because we are a home to about, students from about 180 to 200 different countries, so we understand and we factor all of that.
Okay, so the last question is it still possible to apply for a scholarship for a September start?
So I believe this question, we're talking about the King's Business School scholarship. Yes, if you received an offer for postgraduate course. So the deadline to apply for the scholarship for 2023 starts, September intake 2023 is 30th of June. However, you need to have an offer already. So you applied and received the response and offer from the admission.
Okay, so I have covered all the questions from the YouTube chat box. Thank you for answering all the questions so well. So do you want to share any final words?
Ladies first, Palak.
I think both of us have covered a lot, but yeah, just to kind of sum it up, King's Business School is extremely competitive. Of course, it's popular, which also makes it very, very competitive. And the stats that Martin shared, of course, is a testament to that. So whenever you're putting your application, be very, very mindful that the supporting documents, such as the personal statement, references, all of these are very, very strong, because the kind of applications that King's gets, pretty much everybody meets the minimum entry requirements. So the number of seats are, of course, far less in proportion to the number of applications that we have. So that's just one bit, that focus very, very strongly on your personal statement. That's it.
Thank you. Yeah.
I just gotta say thank you, Palak, for the kind words to the business school, but this applies across the King's College. It's very competitive. It is one of the best universities in the world. And yeah, I hope to see you soon in London. It's city which gets you. I came here for 2 years. It's been 2020 now. I'm still here. I had one of the best jobs. And yeah, if you have any questions, as I said, please send me the direct email, which was on my presentation, or, have a great support from one of the SC UK counselors.
Thank you so much for your valuable time, everyone. To all the audience, if you have any further questions, please feel free to contact SI UK India office. For more updates, do follow us on our social media handles. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you, Priyanka, for organizing.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.